Hey guys, today I'm filming the first update for my Chopping Block 2018 series. If you guys did not see my intro, I will go ahead and have it linked up here. And basically, there were a lot of products in my collection that I'm on the fence about whether I want to keep or declutter. So what I'm doing in these videos is testing out these products and then coming to a final decision whether I will keep them or not. I'm filming updates every 2 months, and in my updates I'm only going to talk about the things that I tested. So if you want to see everything that I'll be testing this year, make sure to check out the intro video. And I actually tested out a bunch of stuff over this first 2 months, so I'm really happy I'm starting off the year strong. So I am including makeup and nail polish this year. I will start with the makeup because I think that is probably the most interesting to everyone. So out of all the products that I tested, I am keeping 3 and I'm decluttering 13, which I think is pretty good. And for some of the things that I'm keeping, I will be reevaluating at the end of the year just to be sure that I actually want to keep them in my collection. And the first one is a ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in the shade I Heart This. This is a metallic finish, and this is a really cool taupey silvery color, and this is a shade I thought I was going to get rid of for sure. And then I wore it, was it in my empties video? Whatever video it was, I'll link it up here so you can see how it looks on the eye. But I absolutely love the way it looked, and I was really surprised by that. So this one's super glittery, has a lot of glitter fallout, which I don't love, but I really do like this color. So for now I will keep it, but this product in particular I will evaluate at the end of the year. My next item I think was in last year's chopping block as well. This is the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadow crayon in the shade Enduring Rose. This is a frosty light champagne pink color. I really like this formula, and I do like this color, and I have used it quite a bit. So this is something that I will hang on to, and I don't think I need to reevaluate this. I feel totally confident keeping this in my collection because I do actually use it as a base. And then my last product is a lipstick. This is the Maybelline Creamy Matte Lipstick in Divine Wine. This is such a beautiful color. It is very, very deep, and I did compare this to ColourPop Lady, which is my favorite very deep red, but when I compare them, this is a lot more burgundy and that has a lot more brown in it, so they are definitely different enough to have both. I do like this formula. I'm not obsessed with it, so this is something else I will reevaluate at the end of the year because this is also kind of old. I only wear this around the holidays, but it is such a pretty color, so I will be hanging on to that for now. So then for all the products that I will be decluttering from my chopping block, the first is the Tarte Amazonian Clay Blush in the shade Party. This is part of the Sephora birthday gift last year, but you can also buy this individually in a full size from the Sephora website. And this is a matte blush. This is pretty pigmented for a Tarte blush. The minis I think have a much better formula than the full size, and this is a peachy nude shade on my skin tone. It is very pretty, but I know that I will not reach for this because it is right in the middle. If I want a peach blush, I'd pick a peach. If I want a nude, I'd pick a nude. And I cannot think of a scenario where I would pull for this instead of one of those other color categories. And then I have 3 cream products that I threw into my intro in some little pictures. And I'm not surprised I'm getting rid of all 3 of these. I do not like cream products. This is the Pixi Sheer Cheek Gel in Natural. This is very, very sheer on my cheeks, and I wear such full coverage foundation. I don't feel like things like this really melt into the skin well, or they don't give enough pigment. The same with the Pixi Multibalm in the shade Baby Petal. It's a really, really light shade. I know I could use it on my lips, but I would never reach for this as a lip product. And again, I just don't reach for cream products. The same with the Trestique Cream Highlighter. This has such a subtle glow, and it's a pretty champagne color, but way too subtle in my skin. And basically, I don't think that they're pigmented enough or intense enough for my liking. Also, I don't like working with cream products because I do have very oily skin and I use a lot of powder on my face. So my next item is the e.l.f. liquid eyeshadow in the shade Rose Gold. It is a really pretty icy pink color. I don't really see a ton of the gold in there. This is very pigmented. It has a really pretty metallic sheen, but it is not as intense as I would like it to be. Also, this did end up creasing on me. It isn't bad, but I would rather reach for a Stila Glitter and Glow over this. Then I do have one ColourPop Super Shock Shadow in Birthday Cake that is an ultra glitter. Ton of glitter fallout on my face. It doesn't have a ton of base pigment for me, and I have so many ColourPop Super Shock Shadows that I would rather spend my time working through instead of this one, so I want to pass it along while it is nice and fresh. Then I have a MakeUpForEver Artist Eyeshadow in I-544. It is a really pretty taupe color, but I compared it next to other taupes in my collection and I liked those colors better, and I knew that I would reach for them more if I was wanting a taupe. So this is a good product. It's a pretty color, but I knew I just wouldn't get the proper use out of it. The same with this Sephora Contour Eye Pencil Waterproof in the shade Flirting Game. It is just a purpley taupe color, but on my eyes you don't see as much of the purple. It just looks like a charcoal or gray color, and I just don't reach for those kind of shades. And then I have a couple lip products. These are the Pixi Shea Butter Lip Balms in the shade Sweet Peach and Natural Rose. First off, I love the colors that you see on the packaging, but it is not accurate with the color that the lip product actually is, which was a bummer. These are not very moisturizing. The amount of color they give on the lips made my lips just look kind of weird. So because they weren't moisturizing and they didn't have the best color payoff and the colors weren't accurate to what I thought they would be, I'm just going to pass these along. My next lip product is the NYX Ombre Lip Duo in Rags and Riches, and this has a lipstick on one end. It's just like a light mauve pink, and then it has a lip liner on the other side, which is a really pretty berry color. I don't love the formula of this. I found that the lipstick felt pretty thick on my lips. It wasn't drying, but it was kind of heavy. It was just a basic cream finish, and I haven't reached for this in such a long time. I have other mauve-y colors that I prefer. Then I did also declutter my ColourPop Lippie Stick in Flawless. This is a satin finish. This is a dupe from Max Rebel, and it is a very, very comparable dupe. It's a pretty color, and I got a lot of compliments when I wore this in a video, but I just don't love it on myself. It isn't a kind of color that I would ever reach for. And then I have a Maybelline Creamy Matte Lipstick in the shade Lust for Blush. It is a mauve pink color. As I said, I have other mauves I prefer. My mom might like this one, but she prefers mauves that are a little bit more berry, so we will see. But also that is old, so I might go ahead and toss that one. So those were all of the products for my chopping block that I am decluttering. I do have two additional products that were not in my intro that I am choosing to declutter, and these are the NYX Butter Glosses in the shade Strawberry Cheesecake and Cranberry Biscotti. These were part of a shade extension a couple years back. I think these colors are beautiful, but not in glosses. I love the NYX Butter Glosses. They're my all-time favorite lip gloss formula. They're very creamy, they're super comfortable, not sticky, but they're not that long lasting, and I'm just afraid of such a creamy, comfortable gloss formula with these kind of colors. So I will be passing those on, which for some reason that's really hard for me. Then I do have, unfortunately, a couple makeup products that I'll be throwing away. Some of these are just products that I noticed went bad, and then some of them were part of my chopping block intro. The first is the Anastasia Dip Brow Pomade in the shade Taupe. I did try to mix this up and it became like liquid creamy consistency. It was so gross because literally I didn't put any liquid in here. All I did was take a Q-tip, mix it up, and it makes no sense to me why the formula went like that. And then when I tried working with it, it was very gooey, and I've left it sitting on my counter with the cap off to try to get it to dry out a bit, and it hasn't really worked, and it is just really gross and gummy. So I'm going to be throwing this away. It's not a good color for me anyway. It's way too dark. I am wearing a brow pomade today. This is the Benefit Ka-Brow in the shade number 1. I actually really like that formula and color. I'm using a sample, but once I use that up, I might purchase that because I really like it. I know that this was one of the first brow pomades out there, but I actually like the Benefit a lot better, and I think the shades are better too. I know the blonde shade in this range literally looks green, like self-tanner green, and this is just too dark for me, so sad I didn't really get my money's worth out of that, but it was a birthday gift a couple years ago. And then all the rest of the products I'm throwing away are ColourPop. It seems like in my chopping block series, if you guys did not see the one from last year, I'll have it linked up here. I've gotten rid of so many ColourPop products because they don't have the longest shelf life. So the first one is a Super Shock Cheek in the shade Cheerio. This has a satin finish. This is my favorite color out of all of their Super Shock blushes. I would do anything to have this color in a powder blush formula. Let me know if you are aware of any dupes. I'll have to check Temptalia to see if there's anything similar. And the consistency of this just started flaking and bunching up and not blending out that well. I do not like these blushes. I have all the rest of them that I own in my chopping block that I'll be testing throughout this year, but unfortunately this one, the formula has completely changed and I absolutely love that shade. Also, I have not yet tried out any of the ColourPop pressed powder blushes, bronzers, or highlighters. If you have, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I haven't really heard people talk about them, and whenever I look at swatches, they all look so different, and I just want to have a little bit more of research before I actually go out and buy them. So I would love to know your thoughts. Then I have two shadows from the chopping block that I am getting rid of. The first one is in the shade Lace. It is a pearlized finish. It's a really pretty purple, but on my eyes, it just pulls the really dark base and I don't really get to see a lot of that beautiful purple shimmer. And also this is just way too dark for me. I have very small hooded eyes and it just made my eyes look super small. Also, the formula of this one is getting kind of gummy, which is weird because usually my ColourPop shadows just start to get dried out, but the formula of this one got kind of funky, so I will be tossing that. And then I have the shade Hustle, which is a matte finish, a beautiful burgundy color, but the mattes are a lot harder to work with, especially the darker shades. I did wear it, I don't know, sometime after my intro, and I loved the overall look, but this shade was very hard to blend out, so I don't want to pass it along to someone because it isn't fresh enough, so I will just toss that. Then I have two other shades that were not in my intro, but I did notice that they dried out, so I will be tossing them as well. This is Cornelius. It is a matte tan shade. This is from the Cackling Lights Where the Light Is collection. Pretty color, but honestly I would much rather use a tan pressed powder shadow. It isn't unique enough to try to work with that formula. Now, the lighter transition shades of the matte shadows are easier for me to work with because I can use a more fluffy brush and they're just a lot more forgiving than the deep shades, but in general I would not purchase any more of the matte or satin finishes. And then this is the shade in a Pickle, beautiful peachy pink color. I use this as a transition color normally and it's a pretty shade, but I would actually rather wear this as a blush, and it did completely dry out, so I will be tossing that one. So that is all for the makeup. I feel really proud of how many things that I was able to let go of my collection. It is a shame that so many of those ColourPop products went bad, but if you guys have been following along with my project pans, I have really been starting to work through my Super Shock shadows, and that is going to be a big goal for me for the rest of this year as well as 2019, seeing how relatively easy it is to work through them, and I still absolutely love them as a whole. Those shades just dried out and went bad, and they weren't my favorites anyway, so I'm not that sad. And again, ColourPop is super affordable. So now for the nail polishes, so I will let you know which ones I've kept and which ones I will be passing along or throwing out. And I was actually able to test a lot of polishes. So I believe in my intro I told you guys that I was gonna test out one polish a week and take a picture for you guys, and all of that did not happen. I have not been taking pictures of them because I've been trying them on at night, maybe wearing them for one day and then changing to another polish, and I just haven't been able to get good pictures of them. I do have a couple pictures that I can pop in, and really what I did with a lot of these is if they dried out, obviously get rid of them, but some of these other shades, if I liked a color, I then compared them to other polishes I have in my collection that are similar to see if I like them as well. And for me, with these wintry polishes, it's easy for me to make decision, and I don't feel the need to have duplicates, but for some other color categories, you will see that they're my weakness and I want to have a million of them. But let's get started with the polishes that I will be keeping. The first is from Essie. This is Warm and Toasty Turtleneck. This is a really beautiful dusty light purple color. I was unsure of what season I like this best in, but I do think that this is a really nice transition from winter to spring, and it did have a nice formula, so I will be keeping that one. And then I do have four glitters. This is OPI Bring on the Bling. It was from the Burlesque collection. This is such an old polish. I can't believe it's not dried out, but it isn't. This is a beautiful glitter. It has gold, red, and green glitter. I absolutely love this for Christmas time, and this sucker is still kicking, so I will be holding on to that one because, like I said, it is a great holiday color and I really love the formula of OPI glitters. Then I have all three of my China Glaze glitters. Now, one of these shades, Champagne Kisses, was dried out and I had to put a lot of polish thinner in here, and it's still a bit goopy, and I know I'm going to have to put polish thinner in every time, but I really couldn't get rid of this because it wasn't totally destroyed. I think the color is absolutely beautiful. I might try to look for a new bottle on eBay or Amazon, which is silly because I haven't reached for this in a long time, but the color is so amazing. And I think the China Glaze glitters are even more finely milled than the OPI. They're less chunky and they lay down really nicely on the nails, so I will be keeping that one. I also have the shade I'm Not Lying, which is a white gold. Formula is still good. I will be keeping that. Then I have Glistening Snow, which is a holographic silvery gray color, and I will be keeping that one as well. And I'm really happy that I'm keeping 5 because I am going to be decluttering 9 polishes. Some will be going in the trash, but some of these will be getting decluttered to a friend or family member. So these first 2 polishes are very similar to each other. These are both white gold glitters that did completely dry out and get crusted and busted. This is Essie's Beyond Cozy. I didn't really love the formula to begin with. Oh my gosh. I wish I had a better camera so you can see how gloopy and absolutely disgusting it is. And I did try to revive these glitters and there was just no hope for them. And then the other one is OPI Spark Day Triumph, which was actually part of a Serena Williams collection like a million years ago. Did you guys hear that she's coming out with a makeup line? I think that's pretty cool. And this one is Gloopy the House, girlfriend. Like, yuck. It's a bummer I have to get rid of those, but they are older. And if I want a white gold glitter, I can use China Glaze I'm Not Lying. Now, these are not dupes for each other, but similar enough to fit that colored need. Then I had another purple polish that, again, I wasn't sure what season I liked it best in. This is Zoya's Serenity. It's like a blurple color. It's a great formula, but this is just not the purple for me. I didn't love the way that it looked on the nails. And then my next polish is the Milani Color Statement in Gilded Rocks. It's a really cool glitter where it has gold and pink glitters. It's very, very pretty in the bottle. On my nails, I just didn't love it, and the formula was just okay, and I don't really see myself reaching for it, so I decided I wouldn't keep it. My next polish is Zoya Pixie Dust in Oswin. It's a really pretty cranberry red textured polish. I have another Pixie Dust from Zoya, and I actually really like the formula of that. It's really easy to work with. This one was gloopy. It looked really ugly on my nails when I got it to be fully opaque, so I'm just gonna get rid of that. And then the rest of these polishes are ones that I compared to other colors in my main collection to see if I needed them. The first one is Orly's Mirror Ball, which is a holographic topper, but this can be built up to be opaque. So I did try this as a topper. I didn't love it. I would rather wear a cream or wear a holographic polish. When I built this up on its own, it had more of like a murky gray base, and I would much rather wear Color Club Harp on it, which is the most amazing silver holographic known to man. So I knew I would always reach for this one over the Orly's, so that's why I'll be passing it on. Next is the Julep polish in the shade Zelda, and I compared this to OPI Designer Do Better from the Muppets collection. So these are not identical, but they both have that copper reflex. Zelda is a bit more of like a burnished gold undertone, while the OPI is more of a silvery platinum. And I did take a polish picture of these, and you can really see the difference. And on my nails, I just knew these were too similar to keep both, and I would reach for the OPI over this every time, but the formula of this one is really good. And then my last 2 polishes would be OPI From A to Zurich, and then Essie Recessionista. So this is more of like a berry red, and this is a burgundy color. And both of these were beautiful. They had great formulas, but again, I wanted to compare these to other colors in my collection. Now, I don't reach for berries, reds very often, so I knew I didn't need to have a bunch of these. So my go-to red is Essie Double-Breasted Jacket. Obviously, it is a lot brighter. This is a true red, and this is more of a berry. But again, if I was going to reach for a color similar to this, I'm going to reach for the Essie over the OPI every single time. So this will be going to somebody else. And then the same thing for Essie Recessionista. I knew that I would most likely pull for Zoya's Margot over this one. Now this is a little bit more purple. This has a bit more red to it, but these are definitely similar enough. And this color is amazing. If I only had one vampy polish in my collection, which I basically do only have one, it would be this one. Still great colors, great formula, but I just knew do, because of the colors that I reach for, I don't need to have a bunch of options of reds and burgundies. So I just wanted to keep these two that are definitely my favorite color and formula wise. So guys, that was my first update for my chopping block Will I Declutter series. I'm feeling like I have a great start for the beginning of the year. I am so happy, and I am really looking forward to testing out more products and sharing with you guys another update in 2 months. If you guys are doing something similar with your collection, I would love to know in the comments down below, or if you guys are just decluttering, I would love to know what are your best declutter tips, and how do you decide whether you want to keep something to test it a little longer, or whether you just want to let it go, get it out of your collection. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye guys.